Hey learners, welcome back to my channel. I am Vipul Gupta. So in our last video we have discussed how we can sort the data, how we can limit the number of records and how we can check for the missing values in a particular record. So in addition to that I have shared a practice problem. In this video I will be discussing the solution first. After that we will be learning a new concept, that is functions in SQL. So if you have not subscribed my channel yet, please go and subscribe now. So let's get started.
So guys, this is the practice problem that we have. So in this practice problem, we need to write an SQL query to print the list of all the name of the employees for whom the salary is greater than $2,000 per month and who have been part of this company for less than 10 months. Further, we need to sort our result in the ascending order as per the employee ID. On the left side, we have the input table and on the right side, we have the output table. So let's go to MySQL Workbench to see how we can write the solution. So guys, now we are at the MySQL Workbench. So let's write a basic select statement to see the data inside this table. So we need to refer the employees table. Let me write select star from, sorry I missed from employees, and before this I need to mention the database that I'm going to use. So let's execute this. Okay, so we have this table. Now have a look at the question again. So basically we need to find out the list of all the employees. So basically we need to print the name. So in the solution we need to mention select and the column that we are going to print is name. From the table name is employees. Now the second point that we need to take care of here is the salary should be greater than $2,000 per month. So we need to mention the salary is greater than $2,000. Now the other where condition that we need to put here is the tenure of the employee. So basically this column should be less than 10. So we need to mention it in the where condition as well, that is months should be less than 10. So now the third part, that is we need to sort our result in the ascending order with respect to the employee ID. So for that we need to mention order by. We need to order by our data with respect to the employee ID column. So we need to mention the employee underscore ID, and since we want to order our data in the ascending order, so we can skip writing ASC. So let's execute this to see the output. Sorry, I missed writing where. Yeah, that's why I was getting an error. So let's execute this to see the output. See, so we are getting Angela, Michael, Todd and Joe. So this way we can write this solution. Now let's move to the concept that we are going to learn today, that is functions. SQL functions. Now what is an SQL function? An SQL function can be defined as a database object which can be executed to perform some action and return the output result. So basically it accepts some input parameter, process the same and return the output result. Now further, SQL functions are of two types: system defined functions and user defined functions. System defined functions are the built-in functions which are already available in the SQL server. They can be executed directly. Whereas user defined functions are the functions which needs to be created by a user or developer in the system, and after that they can be executed. Now system defined functions are categorized into three types based on the data type of the input parameter, that is numeric functions, date functions and string functions. Similarly, user defined functions are categorized into two types: scalar functions and table valued functions. So scalar functions are the functions which returns a single value as the output, whereas table valued functions are the functions which returns a table as the output. So guys, in this video I will be talking about the system defined functions only, and user defined functions is something that I will be covering in one of the later videos. So let's start with numeric functions first. The first function is min. Suppose you have a list of some numerical values and you want to find out the minimum value out of that list. In that case you can use min function. Similarly, if you want to find out the maximum value out of that list, you can use max function. Sum is used whenever you want to add all those numbers from a particular list. Fourth function is AVG, that stands for average. Suppose you want to find out the mean of a particular list of numbers, then you can use average function. The fifth function is count. Suppose you want to count the number of records from a particular table or a particular list, then you can use count function. The sixth function is floor. So floor function is used to find out the largest value which is either less than or equal to a particular number. Suppose you have 25.75. So floor of this number will be 25. The other function is ceil. So ceil is used to find out the smallest value which is either larger than or equal to a particular number. Suppose in this case 25.75, the ceil of this number will be 26. The eighth function is round function. So it is used to round off a particular number up to a certain number of decimal places. For example, you have a number 37.256 and you want to round off this number up to, let's say, 2 decimal places. Then you can use round function. The other function is ABS. ABS stands for absolute value. Suppose you have a negative value, 27.65. So using this function you will be getting 27.65, or if you just pass 27.65 it will be giving you 27.65. The 10th function is SQRT. SQRT stands for square root. Suppose you have a number and you want to find out the square root of that number. In that case you can use SQRT function. So now let's move ahead and write some examples to see how we can implement these numeric functions. So guys, now let's open a table to see how we can implement these numeric functions in SQL. So here I will be using orders table. First of all, let me mention the name of the database, that is this. Let's execute this. Yes. So before proceeding with the functions, let's see what is the data that is available in this orders table. So select star from orders. Let's execute this. Okay. So in this orders table, I have ID, order date, email and amount. So suppose I want to check for the minimum value which is available in this amount column. So for that I can use min function. Let me show how we can use that. Select min. So now parenthesis starts. In this parenthesis I want to pass the name of the column for which I want to check the minimum value from orders. So let's execute this. 15. So 15 is the minimum value that we are getting in this amount column. Please note that we are not considering nulls while calculating the minimum, maximum, count or average function. That is why null has been ignored here. Now suppose I want to check for the maximum value which is available in this amount column. So I will be using max function. Let's execute it. Okay, so we are getting 100, which is the maximum value which is available in this amount column. Now suppose I want to check the sum of all the amounts which are available in this table. So okay, so we are getting 275. Now I want to check for the mean value. So I will be using AVG, that is average function. Let's execute this. Okay, so we are getting 45.8333. Now suppose I want to check the count. I want to see for how many order IDs amount is available. So let's execute this. See, so we are getting 6. Although the number of total records which are available in this orders table is 7, but we are getting 6 because for one of the record the amount column has null value. That is why we are getting 6. So let's move ahead with floor function. Since we do not have any float value in this table, so let's execute it. Select, suppose I want to check for the floor value for 25.456. So floor value for 25.456 will be 25. So let's execute this. See, we are getting 25. Now suppose I want to check for the ceil value, that is the smallest value which is either larger than this number or equal to this number. So in this case it should be 26. So let's execute this. See, we are getting 26. Now suppose I want to round off this value 25.456 up to 2 digits. So I will be using a round function. So here we have to pass two parameters. The first one is a number that we want to round off, and second is the number of digits up to which I want to round off this number. Suppose I want to round off this number up to decimal places. So let's execute this. See, we are getting 25.46. Uh, so moving ahead to the next function, that is absolute. Suppose we have a number minus 24.678 and I want to get the absolute number. So for this number the absolute value will be 24.678. So let's execute this. See, we are getting 24.678. So basically this negative sign has been removed. Now moving to the next function, which is square root. Let's write an example. Select sqrt. Suppose I want to get the square root for 2 to 5. So square root for 225 is 15. So let's execute this to see the output. See, we are getting 15. So guys, this way we have learned how we can implement some of the most commonly used numeric functions. The list of these numeric functions which are available to us is very huge, but I will not be able to discuss all of them. But I have discussed all the most commonly used functions that we need in our day-to-day life. So guys, these are some of the most commonly used date functions. Let's discuss about them one by one. The first function is current date. So it is used to find out the present date. The second function is current timestamp. So this function is used to fetch the current date and the timestamp at the time you are running your query. Now function also performs the same action. The third function is date. So it is used to fetch the date from a particular date object. Suppose you are passing a particular date and timestamp in this function. So it will give you the date part from that timestamp. The fourth function is date difference. So this function is used whenever you want to find out the difference from two dates. Suppose you have two dates, 15 July and 20th July. So the date difference is 5 days. So this function can be used to find out that difference. Fifth function is date add. So this function is used whenever you want to add a particular interval in your date. For example, you want to add 5 days to a particular date. Let's say 15 July, and you want to add 5 more days into that, and you want the output as 20th July. So you can use date add function. The sixth function is day. So this function is used to find out the day from a particular date object. Suppose you are passing 15 July 2021 9 p.m. right? So this function will give you the day, that is 15. Seventh function is day of month. Suppose you are passing a particular date object and you are using this function, so it will give you the day of that particular month. So if you are passing 15 July 2021, it will give you 15. So the eighth function is day of week. So this function is used to return the weekday index for a particular date. For Sunday it will return 1, for Monday it will return 2, for Tuesday it will return 3, 4 for Wednesday, 5 for Thursday, 6 for Friday, and 7 for Saturday. The ninth function is day of year. So basically this function will return the day of the year with respect to the index 1 to 366. The 10th function is month. Suppose you are passing a date object in this function, so it will return the month part from that particular date. For example, you are passing 15 June, so it will return 6 as the month is June. 11th function is month name. So it is used to find out the name of the month basically. For example, you are passing 15/7/2021, that is 15 July 2021. So the 10th function, that is month, it will return 7, whereas month name will return the name of the month, that is July here. The 12th function is extract. So this function is used to extract a particular date part from a particular date object. For example, you are passing a particular date and you want to find out the year part only. So you can use extract function. Now let's write some examples to see the implementation of these date functions. So guys, now let's write some examples to see how we can implement these date functions. So the first function is current date. Let me write an example. Suppose you want to find out the present date. So today it's 31st May 2023. So let's see. Let's execute this. See. So guys, please note here I have not mentioned any database name because it is not required, as I am not using any particular table from a database. I am using this function as it is. So it is returning 31st May 2023. Now let's execute the second function, that is select current timestamp. Let's execute this to see the output. See, so the previous function was returning only the date part, whereas current timestamp function will be returning the current date as well as the current timestamp. Let me copy this. The third function is date. So basically it is used to extract the date part. For example, I am passing this particular date and timestamp. So it will be returning the date part, that is 31st May 2023 only. Let me show you the output. See, so I have passed a date and the timestamp. This function is just returning the date part. Let me write an other example. Suppose I want to find out the date part for the current timestamp. So instead of writing this particular timestamp in this format, I can mention current timestamp. So basically here you can see that I have used a function and passed a function as the input parameter here. So in under this date function I am passing current timestamp function. So basically it will execute it first and it will return this part, right? And then it will be passed as an input to this function. So let's see how it works. See, so we are getting 31st May 2023. The fourth function is date difference. Okay, so date difference is used to find out the difference between two dates. Suppose we have two dates. The first date is 2023/05/31 and the other date is 2023/05 and let's say 15. So it will return the difference between these two dates. Let's execute and see the output. See, we are getting 16 days. So there is a difference of 16 days between 15th May 2023 and 31st May 2023. So let's write some more examples for this date difference function. Let me copy this. Suppose instead of writing this particular date, I want the date difference with respect to current date. So let's execute this and see the output. See, we are getting 16 days as current date is 31st May only. Moving to the next function, that is date add function. So this function is used to add a particular interval in a particular date. Let's write an example to understand this. Suppose I have a date 31st May 2023 and I want to add 10 days into this particular date. So I will be writing the keyword interval 10 day. Let's execute this to see the output. See, so today it's 31st May and after adding 10 more days, I will be getting 10th of June 2023. You can even add months, years, hours, seconds using this particular function. Let me write some more examples. Suppose I want to add 2 more months into this particular date. So I will be writing 2 and instead of day, I will be writing month. Let's execute and see the output. See, so it's 31st May 2023 today and I want to add 2 more months. So we are getting 31st July 2023, that is 07 here. Suppose you want to add 5 more years into this particular date. So I will be writing 5 year. Let's execute this and see the output. See. So the output that we are getting is 31st May 2028, which is 5 years after this particular date. And last example for this function, let's say you want to write current date. I miss C. Yes. Let's execute this. See, we are getting 31st May 2028. So this way you can add a particular interval to a particular date value. Now let's move to the next function. So the next function is day. Let's see how we can use this. Suppose you are passing a particular date and you want to find out the day out of that particular date. Let me copy this particular date and pass this as the input parameter here. So here we are passing 31st May 2023 and this day function will be returning 31. Let's execute this and see the output. See, we are getting 31. We can use it with the current date function as well, and suppose instead of just date we are passing a timestamp, for example 9:43:21. So this 9 is 9, the hour, the minute, and these are the second. So let's execute this. See, we are getting 31. So you can pass a date or a date object. So let's move to the next function, that is day of month. Okay. So this day of month function will return the day with respect to 1 to 31 numbers. So let me pass this only as the input parameter. Let's execute this to see the output. See, we are getting 31. Now moving to the next function, that is day of week. This is a little bit interesting. So I will be passing today's date only. So today it's Wednesday. So for Wednesday we shall get 4. Let's execute this and see the output. See, we are getting 4 because it's Wednesday today. Moving to the next function, that is day of year. Okay. So let's check what is the day number with respect to particular year, that is the index which varies from 1 to 366. So I will be passing this particular timestamp and see what we are getting. Let's execute this. Okay, so as per this 1 to 365 index, today is 151st day of this particular year. Moving to the next function, that is month. Okay, so month function is used to find out the month part from a particular date object. For example, I'll be passing today's date only, so I'll be using current time stamp. So since it's May, so we should be getting 5. Let's execute this and see the output. See, we are getting 5. Now suppose instead of just this number you want the name of this month, so we can use month name function. Let's execute this and see the output. See, we are getting May as the output. Now moving to the next function, that is extract. So guys, extract function is used if you want to extract a particular part from a particular date. For example, you want to extract the month part from a particular date, you can use extract function. Let me show you how we can write the same. Select extract. So first of all, you have to mention the part of the particular date that you want to extract. Suppose you want to extract month, so I will be writing month from. So we have to mention the keyword from. Now we have to pass, suppose we are passing this timestamp. So So let's execute this and see what we are getting. Okay, so since we want to extract the month part, for current timestamp the month is 5. Now suppose I want to extract the hour part. So let me write hour instead of month and execute this and see the output. See, it's around 9 p.m. so we are getting 21. Similarly, if you want to find out the minute, you can use minute instead of hour. Let's execute this and see the output. See, it's 9:28. That is why we are getting 28. So this way you can extract any part. Suppose you want to extract the year part, you can replace this minute with year and let's execute this to see the output. It's 2023. So this way extract function can be used to extract any part from a particular date. So guys, these are some of the most commonly used date functions. Let's move to the string functions now. So guys, these are some of the most commonly used string functions. So let's discuss about these functions one by one. First function is concat. So this function is used to add several strings. Suppose you have two strings, my name is and the other string is Vipul Gupta, and you want to concatenate those two strings to create one sentence. Then we can use concat function. The second function is char length or character length. So we have these two functions available. These functions are used to find out the number of characters available in a particular string. For example, Vipul is a string and I want to find out the number of characters available in Vipul. So since Vipul is made of 5 characters, it will give you 5. Third function is lcase or lower. So these two functions are used to convert a particular string into lowercase. Fourth function is ucase or upper. So these two functions can be used to convert a particular string in the uppercase. So the fifth function is substr or substring. So these two functions are used to extract a particular part from a string. The sixth function is reverse. So this function is used to reverse the string. For example, you are passing a, b, c into this function reverse. So it will give you c, b, a. So the seventh function is instr or instr. So this function is used whenever you want to find out the location of a particular string which is a part of another string. For example, I am earning 3 lakh rupees. So I want to find out the location of 3 in this particular string. So I can use instr function. The eighth function is ltrim. Suppose you have a string in which there are some leading spaces at the left side. So you can trim those blank spaces by using ltrim function. Similarly, the ninth function is rtrim. So this can be used to trim the leading spaces at the right side. The 10th function is replace. So this function is used whenever you want to replace a particular substring from a bigger string. For example, I have a string, I live in Gurgaon. So I want to replace this Gurgaon by New Delhi. So I can use replace function here. So now let's write some examples to see how we can execute these functions in SQL. So the first function is concat. Let's see how it works. Suppose you have a string my, another string is name is, third string is Vipul and fourth string is Gupta, and I want to concatenate all these 4 strings. So I can use concat function. Let's execute this query and see the output. See, we are getting my name is Vipul Gupta in a one column or one sentence. The second function is char underscore length or character underscore length. Suppose you have a string and you want to find out the number of characters available in that particular string. For example, I am passing Vipul. So let's execute this. Since Vipul has 5 characters, so it should be returning 5. See, we are getting 5. Similarly, we can use character underscore length function. Both the functions are same and performs the same action. See, we are getting 5 again. Moving to the third function, that is lcase or lowercase. So suppose, let me copy this query. Suppose for this particular string, The first letter is V, which is that is in capital, but the other four letters are in lowercase. Now I want to convert all these strings, all these characters in this string into lowercase. So I will be using L case. Let's execute this to see the output. So all the five characters in this particular string Vipul are converted into lowercase. Similarly, if you want to convert all the characters in a particular string into uppercase, you can use ucase or upper function. Let me show it to you. See, all the five characters part of this particular string has been converted into uppercase. Now moving to the next function, that is substr or substring. So guys, before proceeding towards writing an example for substr or substring function, let's understand the syntax first. So basically, against this function substr or substring, you need to pass three input parameters. The first parameter is string. The string, so basically you have to pass the string against which you want to extract the substring. The second part is the starting position from where you want to start the extraction part. The third parameter is number of characters that you want to extract. So let me write an example for you. Suppose from this string Vipul, I want to extract the substring which starts from second position up to 3 characters. So we can write it in this way. Select substr. So first of all we have to pass this string. So here we are using Vipul. The second input parameter will be the starting position from where you want to start the extraction from this particular string. Suppose I want to start this extraction from the second character. So I will be writing second. And I want to extract 3 characters. So I will be writing 3. So guys, please make a note here that the numbering for a particular string starts from 1. So basically SQL will assign first position to V, second to I, third to P, and fourth to U, and fifth to L. Right. Now let's execute this to see the output. See, so we are getting I, P, U. So basically I is at the second position. So we have given a command to extract the substring starting from the second character. That is why we are getting the first character as I. And the third parameter is number of characters. So we have given a command to extract 3 characters starting from I. So that is why we are getting I, P, and U. So now guys, in this example we have used a smaller string. Suppose we have a bigger string. Let's say I have this string. My name is Vipul Gupta. Now I want to extract the last 5 characters, right? So the first way of doing it, we have to find out the number of total characters available in this string, and then we can write it like, for example, in this example we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, right? So basically, I just want to extract this Gupta, right? So I will be writing, I want to start this extraction from 17 up to 5 characters. So let's execute this to see the output. Okay, so I think it should be 18. Let's execute this. See, so I am getting Gupta, but since this was comparatively smaller query, suppose you have a big string and you want to extract the last 5 characters. So counting the number of strings available in that particular string is very difficult. So for that, what we can do, we can write it as -5. So what it will do, basically it will start counting from the last uh, fifth last character up to next 5 characters. So let's execute this. See, we are getting Gupta. So this is very useful when you deal with bigger strings. Now let's move to the next function, reverse function. So basically reverse function is used whenever you want to reverse the characters in a particular string. Let me write an example to explain this. Suppose you have a string A, B, C, D and you want to replace the characters which are available in this particular string. So let's execute this to see the output. See, we are getting D, C, B, A. Let's write another example for the same. Suppose you want to you want to replace the characters present in this string. So the string that I'm passing here is Vipul space Gupta. Now let's see what we are getting in using this function. See, we are getting this output. So basically using this function you can reverse the order of characters available in a particular string. Now let's move to the next function, INSTR. So INSTR function is used to find out the location of a particular string in a bigger string, which is a part of the bigger string. For example, I have a string, I am earning 50 lakhs, right? So this is a bigger string. Now suppose I want to find out the location at which this particular part exists. I want to check it for 50. Now I will be passing 50. So let's execute this query to see the output. See, 50 stands at 14th position. So basically in this function we have to pass two parameters. The first parameter is the bigger string and the second parameter is the substring for which you want to check the location. Now let's move to the next function, ltrim or rtrim. Suppose you have a string now you want to remove the leading blank spaces before this v. Now we can do that by using a function ltrim. So let me show you an example. Now let's execute this to see the output. See, the leading blank spaces have been removed. Similarly, suppose you have a string with spaces at the end. Now you want to remove the spaces which are occurring at the right side, right? So I can use rtrim. See, so please note here that the leading spaces which are happening after A have been removed, but the spaces which are at the left side are still there. Now suppose I want to remove both the spaces at the starting as well as the at the end part. So what I can do, I can use ltrim, and then under this ltrim I can pass the rtrimmed version for this particular string. So let's execute this to see the output. See, so both the spaces at the left side and the right side have been removed by using ltrim and rtrim consecutively. Now let's move to the next function, that is replace. So basically this replace function has three parameters that we have to pass. The first one is the string. The second parameter is the string that we want to replace in the bigger string. And third parameter is the string that we want to put as a replacement. For example, I live in Gurgaon is a string. I want to replace Gurgaon by New Delhi. So for that we can use replace function. Let me show you how we can write an example. I live in Gurgaon. So this is a bigger string. Now I want to replace this Gurgaon by New Delhi. So what I can do, I will be writing the string that I want to replace, And then the third parameter that I am supposed to pass is the replacement string that I want to put here against Gurgaon. Suppose I want to replace it with New Delhi. So now let's execute this to see the output. See, I live in Gurgaon has been changed and modified, and it is showing New Delhi instead of Gurgaon. So this way we can use replace function. So guys, these are some of the most commonly used string functions that are available with us in SQL, and we have learned how we can implement these functions.
So thank you for watching this video. I hope you like it. Do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel for more videos and interview tips. As always, I have a practice problem for you guys at the end of this video. So please be with me till the end of this video.
So guys, this is the practice problem for today. You need to write an SQL query to get the employee ID, full name and hire date of the employees, for which the length of the first underscore name column is either greater than or equal to 8. Also, you need to take care of the spaces. Let's have a look at the data. So guys, this is the input table. Here you can see in the first underscore name column, there are some records for which we have some blank spaces at the left side as well as the right side. So guys, I request you all to please attempt this question, and I will be discussing the solution in the next video. Please do let me know the solution in the comment section, or in case of any question, you can put it in the comment section. Thank you for watching.